Hey, what's up guys? John here. The movement away from fossil fuels will push forward one of the greatest waves of gentrification that California has ever seen. It's underway right now, and many people don't realize what's coming next.
California is making progress when it comes to transitioning from fossil fuels to clean energy.
By 2030, the state needs to be 60% reliant on renewable energy. By 2045, the state needs to be 100% carbon free.
In the beginning, they're doing something that is very simple. It's an extra $129 a month fee, $128 a month fee that wealthy and affluent homeowners and property owners will have to start paying to offset the utilities for the less fortunate.
Your income could eventually decide how much you pay for electricity in parts of California.
Low-income households would actually pay less for their electricity. High-income households would likely see that increase.
That's in the beginning. But as this continues to ramp up, what you're going to see is a lot of the less fortunate are going to be letting go of their properties, and a lot of the wealthy are about to get a lot wealthier. I'm going to show you the facts. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on so you can position yourself for this. Even if you don't live in California, I'm going to show you all the other cities and states that are doing the same exact thing. Very similar policies so you can position yourself for what I believe is going to be the greatest wealth transfer in humankind. Please hit the like button, and hit the like button if you're going to share this content to educate the people about what's really going on. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com by clicking the link in the description below this video to schedule a free strategy session. We're walking into the greatest investing opportunity that we've ever been in. And so if you have bad credit, you're holding yourself back. You're doing a massive disservice to yourself and your future. So if you have bad credit, we'd love to help you at GreatCreditFast.com. Take a look at this. So new data shows PG&E rates going up as utilities ask regulators for another rate hike. So rates have already increased 38% from January 2021 to September 2023. So a 2-year period, right? 2 years. And it's increased 92% from January 2014 to September 2023. So that 9-year period, it's went up 92%. Well, here's how this new plan is going to work. So not only will the wealthy, their definition of the wealthy, by the way, not only will they have their own utility bills, but they'll have to pay a $128 fee for more affluent customers to offset the cost for someone else. The problem is, in a location like California, let's say, for example, you're making $20,000 a month. You're deemed affluent. You're deemed high income. $20,000 a month, you're paying 52% on state, federal, and city tax if you live in Los Angeles. 52%. So of that 20 grand you're making a month, or 18,000 you're making a month, maybe you're putting 10 in your pocket, and then you have 3 grand a month just for rent. You have a car payment for $700. You have utilities. You have food prices. I mean, you have all the other expenses. Before you know it, you're left with $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 max, right? That's maximum. So to be deemed as high income today, I would think that you'd have to make $100,000 a month or more in a location like California with a very, very, very high cost of living. But that's not going to be the case. So what's ultimately going to happen here is they're going to continue pushing and pushing and pushing the middle class to go into the lower income. And the upper class is going to really start to, and I don't even like that term, but the upper income brackets will start to dominate. So here's how it works. So right now they're investing tens of billions of dollars to transition to clean energy, taking action to cut pollution and moving us away from fossil fuels. So in the beginning, it's going to seem like, there's a cooperation. The wealthy are helping the less fortunate. But what's ultimately going to happen over time as they continue to move away from fossil fuels, the cost will continue to rise. And even that $128 won't be enough. They might move it to $150, $200, $250 a month. They're going to continue to ramp this up, and then they're going to move everyone into this, which is already law. It's already set. They signed this January 2020. So here's how this works. So many states are paving the way towards a cleaner, emission-free, and sustainable future. They are actively addressing climate, innovating new solutions to fit their circumstances. This widespread support for climate action proves the dire need to protect and preserve our land for future generations. So they say right here, California, among many other states, has introduced specific goal-oriented targets such as 100% renewable portfolio standard, 100% renewable power by 2045. One of the state's policies includes California's solar mandate that begins January 1, 2020. This initiative, the California Energy Commission, requires California to produce 50% of its energy through clean energy sources. So what do I think is going to happen here? It's the greatest rug pull on, if you know Los Angeles, East Los Angeles, South Los Angeles, these are lower income neighborhoods, at least they were. And these are people that mostly moved from, South America and, other places. They've owned these properties 20, 30, 40 years. And when you have a high cost of living, everything's getting more and more and more and more expensive. What's happening with these property owners? They're feeling the pressure, right? They're feeling the pressure. So even if their bills are continuing to rise, but their incomes are staying stagnant, what's going to happen? They're going to have to sell these properties. So the wealthy are going to be able to move in there and upgrade these properties with all these new standards, which are already, signed January 1, 2020. So if you're able to, as a developer or as an investor, able to buy these properties, bring them up to code, and you're going to be able to reduce utility bills, reduce costs, you're going to be able to have a big advantage if you were to rent these properties out. So here's how this works. So the California Energy Commission introduced the California Solar Mandate, which requires rooftop solar systems to be equipped on all new homes built January 1, 2020 and beyond. The progressive ruling is the first of its kind in the U.S. and is leading the nation to cleaner energy future. The initiative of the CEC aims to spearhead California's milestone goal of producing 50% of the state's energy through energy sources by 2030. The buildings that Californians buy and live will operate very efficiently while generating their own clean energy. They will cost less to operate, have healthy indoor air, and provide a platform for smart technologies that will propel the state even further down the road to a low emissions future. So this is what's going to happen. Middle class and the lower income, they're going to start to get choked out financially because of this. And the wealthy, they're going to be able to take all this depreciating fiat currency and buy hard real assets, hard real land, buy these structures, upgrade these properties, and rent out these homes. So if you look at even what they're doing right now with businesses, they're moving everything, not just the energy of how homes operate, how they function, how we live, but the businesses as a whole, how the economy moves, is going through this change as well. So Newsom's signature was expected after saying, of course, he would sign the law at New York's Climate Week conference. Climate advocates say that the law will fill information gaps on businesses' responsibility for global warming and cut through corporate greenwashing. So when you look at this new law, Apple and Patagonia love Gavin Newsom's move to make big firms disclose their emissions. Chevron and Exxon are going to have to fess up. Well, they say that, some of these companies, you have Microsoft, you have Apple, Salesforce, Patagonia, they love this because there's all these new compliance standards. They have all of these new compliance standards. So what does this mean? If you're a business owner and you have to comply with all these new emission standards, that would likely mean that your margins are going to shrink further, right? But for a large company like this actually would mean this would actually be an asset for them because they're essentially are printing all of this money. And so the more damage that's being done to the middle class, the more assets that'll be available for sale, the more they can invest and the wealthier they can become. And that's ultimately what's going forward with this big move for a lot of these companies. I believe these companies over the coming couple of years are going to get bigger and more powerful, and the CEOs, the owners, and the shareholders are going to make so much money over the next 3 to 5 years, way more money than they've made over the last 20. So when you look at this, they say, look, it's just the big companies. It's only companies that are doing $1 billion of revenue. And then, they say, maybe 500 million down here. They mentioned 500 million. But when you look at these big numbers, everyone says, okay, great. It's not me. Yeah, my business is only doing 80,000 a year or 50,000 a year or 100,000 a year or $1 million a year. But it always starts up here, and then over time it continues to gradually move down, and then it's all businesses. And that's ultimately what's going forward. If you look at Los Angeles, for example, and this also is not just Los Angeles. You can click here and you can see that this is basically every major city in America. All the big ones are here with Miami, you have DC, Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, Chicago, New Orleans, Houston, Austin, Phoenix, LA, San Francisco. But when you click on Los Angeles and you click here and you can look at their accelerators, you'll start to see that they have a lot of plans for divesting fossil fuels. They even have clean air accelerators to move vehicles off the road. A lot of changes are going to be coming to energy. And so when you if you click on their equity pledge, they say that they want inclusive climate action and infrastructure projects that achieve major environmental, health, and social economic benefits, especially in low-income and vulnerable communities, which matches up perfectly with subsidizing these utility bills. So when you start to see this, it's fascinating because a couple things are also happening at the same exact time, which I think adds gas to the fire for this wealth transfer, and that is that rents are softening. Right here, they projected rents fell 3.7%. Some are saying 2.4%. But if you look at this here, it says June 9th, rents dipped 1.6%. Then September 2023, it dipped now 2.4%. So you can see the trend that rents are in fact falling. So the big question is, if you are a mom and pop investor, or you're a property owner, you're renting out your home, and insurance is going up, yet rents are softening, and the cost to borrow money is going up, and utilities are going up, what's ultimately happening? Your position is weakening as that landlord, as that operator. But if you look at a lot of these really, really big companies, a lot of these really, really wealthy entities, all of these new mandates present a huge opportunity for them to go in there and absorb all of these properties. So I believe massive change is going to be coming. I think that this push away from fossil fuels is going to be one of the greatest wealth transfers, probably the greatest wealth transfer that we'll see in our lifetime. And it's just started now. A lot of people are still kind of asleep about this, but every year it's going to get much, much, much worse. So if you are thinking about buying a property in California, I would definitely recommend talking to LADBS, Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety, see what those new mandates are going to look like for your specific property. If you're thinking about buying a house to fix up, look at what these changes will likely be in the next 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. Plan that into your budget. I think we're going to start to see all these new changes happening. You know, some of these properties are excluded. For example, if you live in an area where there's a very, very, very big shade over your roof and you can't use solar, then you possibly could be excluded. Or if it's a high-rise apartment building, you could possibly be excluded. There's some rare exclusions, so I would definitely recommend speaking to Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety if you're in LA, for example. Do your research. This, I believe, is going to be a huge rug pull on a lot of property owners and a really, really big investing opportunity for others. What do you think about this? Do you think we're going to continue to see this really, really big push going forward? Drop below. Let's have a conversation about it. One thing is for sure, that if rents continue to soften, more pressure will be put on these landlords and more opportunity will be presented to the smart, the savvy, and the prepared, because they're going to be able to go out there and buy these distressed deals, bring them up to code, and get out of this fiat dollar that we have right now that is likely going to have a very, very bumpy ride the next 5 years, 10 years. We're going to likely see inflation continue to persist. Owning hard real assets is definitely the way to go. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, you can share the content. And if you'd like to fix your credit, again, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com by clicking the link in the description. I'll catch you guys in the next video.